Good morning, Oracles. Well, we've got Tesla popping even more this morning pre-market, up 1.5% at the time of this recording. So again, we're on this nice upward trend, and we saw last week that we bounced at that 935 mark, which was a resistance level that I had mentioned last week. So now we've hit it once. A lot of times when you're looking at resistance levels like this, you'll see it bounce 2 or 3 times before it breaks through. So what I'm going to be paying attention to right now is, are we going to be bouncing off of that 935 again? So we may bounce off of it, pull back down, and then break through, or get rejected by that and fall further down. And usually when you fall further down, you fall significantly further down. So this is what I'm paying attention to. So timing-wise on this, we could see that 935 test again today and perhaps close a little bit higher than we did yesterday, and then going into the annual shareholder meeting, get that third test and see whether we're going to break through or get rejected by it. So this will be huge over the next couple of days just to follow, and this is just the technical analysis piece of things, and the news could be what drives it through this, because a lot of times when you're following the trends like we have been doing, it's news that is going to push you one way or the other in a trend to whether you're going to break out of that area or you're going to get rejected by it. And then after 935 is that $950 psychological mark that we need to break through. So again, if we get this great news coming out of the annual shareholder meeting, we get the split passes and then we get some surprises, we could blow right past that 950 mark. Heck, we could blow past that $976 mark that I had mentioned as well, and then push our way to 1,000. That would be an awesome way to finish the week off. We'll see what happens at the annual shareholder meeting. Again, Vinny and I are going to be doing a live stream for it to be able to enjoy it all with you guys. Check that out. I'll put up a link for that tomorrow. So other questions I had in the comments this morning, which were awesome, and thank you, Todd, for asking this, is about the EV charging and the grid being able to handle all of these EVs coming onto the market. You know, especially if we're seeing this EV adoption pushing to perhaps 40% by 2025, we're already seeing a strain on the grid over in California. They've had grid problems for years before EVs, and it's just making it worse. So I think what's going to happen is it's going to go region by region all around the country and around the world. Some grids are going to be able to handle it better than others, while some grids are very poor. Now you're going to be able to get to like South America, or we've already seen it in Australia. There's some areas that have really hard problems with their grid, and Tesla is stepping into Australia and setting up areas with all their mega packs and being able to provide a cleaner grid over there to start. Unfortunately here, like in the US and other areas of the world, we have an older and dirty grid that needs to get replaced, similar to what ICE is going through with legacy auto right now, where ICE is there, but it needs to get replaced. So it's going to be a challenge for sure. But again, this is where Tesla steps in. Don't forget that Tesla's mission is to change the world over to sustainable energy. So by doing so, Tesla's making this step, and they're already working on the underlying foundations of this. So as we move forward, there are areas that are going to be upgraded earlier than others because Tesla is already stepping in there to help them out. Sometimes the government gets in the way and slows down progress. We need to wait for regulations. We need for some governments to be like, all right, fine, we'll change, because some people are just stubborn. And even when it comes to the government, seeing what needs to happen, they're stubborn and they're slow to move. So I'm seeing this transition happening. We're going to get there. There's definitely going to be a learning curve along the way. There are going to be growing pains for sure. But when it comes to Tesla and their switch and transition over to this, we are already seeing that happen. They're already improving their charging stations, and Rob Maurer did a great video on it yesterday if you guys want to check that out. I'll put a link to it down in the description if you guys want to watch it there. And, you know, Tesla's always improving this to help the grid get cleaner, to help the grid be able to handle all of these EVs that are coming. And this is why Tesla has said that they're opening up all of their charging stations to everyone in the world, because they truly want to see the entire world be able to make this transition. Because if we hit a wall and all of a sudden we had massive brownouts everywhere and the grid couldn't handle it, making this transition to the EVs would be a lot more difficult. And the current government here in the US is trying to help that transition to go over, but we all know how that government works. So it could be a little more painful than we anticipate. However, I am definitely anticipating by 2027's Tesla annual shareholder meeting, there are going to be a lot more questions about energy and robotaxis than we will have about EVs. So again, now I'm on record saying this, obviously it's going to be a long ways away, But looking at where everything is transitioning to, looking at the growth ramps of the company itself and the fact that we're starting this EV exponential curve and we're waiting on the robotaxi and energy exponential curve to start, those will probably start somewhere around 2025. So by 2027, with EVs at that point probably pushing 60 to 70% adoption, if not higher, we might be in a situation where, it's a major question, and how much can Tesla do to help this transition if others have not stepped up to the plate? So this could be a huge burden on Tesla, but again, there's also a lot of opportunity there for Tesla to be able to grow the company. And this being the actual mission statement of them, this is the end game for them. This is what they have been in this for, is to transition the world. So as Elon had stated in an interview, I think it was back in 2013, he's anticipating the world getting to about that 50 to 60% EV adoption rate by the 2026-2027 mark. And it's at that point that they're going to need to have that energy, to get in there. So he's like, it's not that they're going to take their focus off of EVs, but once we get the EV transition and adoption to that tipping point and we have more EVs on the road than ICE vehicles, then energy is going to be a major focus, because that's what's going to need to happen. So Tesla's kind of forcing the hand to get us to a cleaner grid, to get us to renewable, sustainable energy. And of course, Tesla has the solution for that. And one of the things I do like about Tesla is we'll see that many a times in the past that a large company will create a problem, and then they'll create a solution to that problem and make profits off of both of them. So in the case that we're going with here, Tesla is in a similar situation, but for the good of all humanity. So we're looking at, changing the world to renewable, sustainable energy, because that's the best for humanity. And unfortunately, Tesla had to do so and make this transition happen by creating a problem with EVs. So they started with EVs, and EVs are creating this problem of the grid being dirty. But you got to think about it. It's not like Tesla created that problem. That problem was already created. At the time that the grid was invented and set up, that was a good thing. It was a great thing for the entire world to transition to that. Now it's just time to update that. But we wouldn't be updating it if Tesla didn't push this EV revolution as it is to force this hand to turn over and make that transition happen. So this is what we're going to see. And so looking at it going forward, yes, it's going to be a painful transition, but Tesla is going to be at the helm and the forefront of that next stage of this evolution. So we're going to be led by Tesla with the EVs, and then Tesla is also going to lead us to the energy revolution and then beyond after that. So thank you, Todd, for that question, because that is a great question. And this is another reason why looking down the road as far as Tesla and their strength and the growth, just this is the next step. Like, EVs are just the tip of the iceberg for when it comes to Tesla as a company. They haven't even gotten to the actual, mission statement of their company as it is. Once we get to that, that's going to be huge. And then what the next step after that is going to be is AI with Optimus, because we're like, all right, well, now we have the EVs that are out there. Now we have energy. Well, what do we need in order to sustain all of this on top of it? Well, that's going to be labor. And if the population is looking like we are on a decline, as Elon is predicting, then we're going to need Optimus labor to be able to continue driving this entire movement forward. So looking into the future, I am really looking forward to this annual shareholder meeting coming up, what news and surprises we are going to get at it, to get the news about the split. And then in future annual shareholder meetings, I'm really looking forward to how all of them are going to transition as Tesla transitions itself into the new company that it's going to be, from EVs over to energy, to robotaxis, and into Optimus and AI. It is going to be an extremely fun journey over this next decade with you guys. Let me know in the comments below, what surprises do you think we are going to hear at the annual shareholder meeting? And how do you think that Tesla is going to help the world transition over to this new energy that we're going to need when it comes to the grid and all these charging stations and charging EVs? How do you think Tesla's going to handle this, and what year do you think it is that we're going to make that massive transition? And just as a reminder, everyone, today is the last day to vote. You have until midnight tonight to place your votes for the annual shareholder meeting tomorrow. So please make sure you get over there. I do have that link in the description for you guys to vote. Thank you all so much for watching. I appreciate all of your support and feedback. If you have not subscribed, please do so down below. Sign yourself up for notifications. I am over on Twitter at OracleTim1. I share all of the latest Tesla news, pertinent stock market information, and all of my daily trades. We do have a Discord chat. That link is down in the description. And if you'd like to support the channel any further, we do have a Patreon. That link is also in the description. Thank you so much. Have a great one.